What's going on, guys? It's Jimmy here with your second stimulus check update. And in this video, we have several different things to go over and some really big news for you guys in this video. But first, if you're new to the channel, click the subscribe button down below. It's completely free to do so. This way you won't miss out on second stimulus check updates. My wife and I do all the research for you every single day so we can bring you all the information and related news in a quick, concise video. And don't forget to smash the like button for us down below. It really helps out our channel. Okay, first up, Senate Democrats Chuck Schumer and Elizabeth Warren announced a resolution on Thursday to cancel up to $50,000 in student loan debt for borrowers due to this pandemic. And get this is very surprising. They don't even need to pass this through Congress. They don't need the Democrats and the Republicans to agree on it. They can do this through a presidential executive order. So several things could happen here. They could announce that they want to forgive up to $50,000 of student loans, and either President Donald Trump or Joe Biden, if he wins next year, could do this strictly through a presidential executive order. We could see this happen by President Donald Trump before the election to help him win more votes for the election. He might say, okay, we're prepared to forgive up to $10,000 per person or up to $50,000 per person of student loan debt. And he literally, with a stroke of a pen, can pass this and it would be done. It wouldn't even need to be voted on by Democrats or Republicans or Congress at all. And this also could be done next year by President Joe Biden if he wins the presidential election. He could pass this into law also, just with the stroke of a pen through a presidential executive order. Senate Minority Leader Chuck Schumer, a Democrat from New York, and Senator Elizabeth Warren from Massachusetts announced a resolution Thursday that would broadly cancel federal student loan debt due to this pandemic. The resolution calls on President Donald Trump to take executive action to forgive up to $50,000 in student loan debt for borrowers. The economic aftermath from this pandemic, which caused unemployment to spike and wages to fall, has made it nearly impossible for many borrowers to repay their college loans, the senators have said. As you can see on this graph here, the cost of college tuition has just been soaring, especially in the last 10 years. Even before this virus outbreak, college costs have been increasing significantly for years. As a result, student loan debt has reached a record proportions with more than $1.5 trillion in loans outstanding. Now, roughly 43 million adults currently have a federal student loan, according to the U.S. Department of Education. So let us know your thoughts down below in the comments. Would you be in favor of either President Trump, or if he doesn't win the re-election, Joe Biden, basically being able to do this just with the stroke of a pen and forgive up to $50,000 in student loans for up to 43 million Americans? I would love to know your thoughts on this. And it would definitely help out a lot of people, but I could definitely see a lot of people being against it, saying that they've already paid their student loans and this wouldn't help them at all. But on the other hand, I do think it would be better to help some Americans than to help none. And this is just one resolution on the table for more stimulus. President Donald Trump is what's being called moving closer to Nancy Pelosi in stimulus talks, and the House Speaker must decide on the next move. House Democrats were starting to squirm this week, fretting that House Speaker Nancy Pelosi's risky gamble in economic relief talks would backfire and they would go into the November elections without any new stimulus package. But President Donald Trump changed that on Wednesday when he cast aside the Republican negotiation position and told his party to embrace a much larger stimulus bill, including stimulus checks, to give Americans more money. In short, he moved closer to Nancy Pelosi's position after a month-long showdown. And this is exactly what House Majority Leader Steny Hoyer, and a fellow Democrat also, has said likely will happen next week, is that the Democrats are going to draft a new bill, a new stimulus bill, and the Democrats are going to agree on this ahead of time, and they're going to go straight to President Donald Trump with this bill to get his approval on behalf of the Republicans. Either side, the Democrats or the Republicans, only need a few votes from the other side to be able to get this passed and into law. For example, if this is a Democratic bill, they can pass it in the House all on their own, and they only need a few votes in the Senate. And if they can guarantee those votes through going through President Donald Trump and get the basically approval for the Republicans, we could have this passed within 48 hours, and we're likely to see possibly an agreement coming forward if Nancy Pelosi and Steny Hoyer move forward with this plan, where the Democrats will agree on it ahead of time, and all they need is a few votes from the Republicans, and they go straight to Donald Trump to get those votes. Nancy Pelosi said that $2.2 trillion figure that she's looking for in the next stimulus package may have to include some money for struggling airlines and restaurants across the United States that are struggling and going out of business in record numbers. Nancy Pelosi refuses to tell the Republicans what's in the $2.2 trillion figure that she wants to spend on the next stimulus package. So she could basically throw in anything in there. She could have stimulus checks, she could have unemployment, she could have money for airlines or no money for airlines, money for restaurants and small businesses or no money for restaurants and small businesses. She could throw $1 trillion in there for states and cities, or maybe only do half of $1 trillion, $500 billion, and spend the other $500 billion on ice cream. I mean, she could literally spend this money on anything, is what she's pushing for. She's just pushing for approval from the Republicans, saying, I want $2.2 trillion. I want you to agree to it, and I am not going to tell you what we're going to spend that money on. I just want to get your approval on the top line number of $2.2 trillion. And then we'll decide if we want to spend that money on ice cream or stimulus checks or what we're going to spend that money on. You guys could let me know your thoughts down below in the comments. The other Grinch of the stimulus bills, Mitch McConnell from the Republicans, has been very quiet of late. I guess he's tired of people protesting outside of his office with signs and chants saying, Mitch better have my money, with an M, not a B. He's in for a tight re-election campaign, as is Nancy Pelosi, and Mitch McConnell has been very quiet as of late in the last few days, as he's also not on the negotiation team for the Republicans. He chose to sit this one out and not negotiate with Nancy, and have White House Chief of Staff Mark Meadows and Treasury Secretary Steve Mnuchin do it instead, or maybe I should say Mark Mnuchin. The Trump administration also announced $13 billion in additional stimulus aid for Puerto Rico, which is a U.S. territory. The Trump administration on Friday announced $13 billion in additional aid, and that's with a B, not an M, also, to Puerto Rico to help with rebuilding in the aftermath of Hurricane Maria. Puerto Rican governor announced on Friday morning that the Federal Emergency Management Agency money has been approved to the tune of $13 billion. She thanked the White House and President Donald Trump. White House Press Secretary Kayleigh McEnany touted the $13 billion FEMA award as two of the agency's largest grants ever in a statement. It will include $11.6 billion federal share for funding of these projects. Trump's handling of the 2017 storm, which devastated the island and killed nearly 3,000 people in its aftermath, has widely been criticized by locals and experts. Trump was lambasted for his visit to Puerto Rico weeks after the storm, where he was pictured tossing paper towels to a crowd of survivors. The president also announced another $13 billion in aid to farmers in the United States affected by this pandemic. The reported aid for farmers comes after the Agricultural Department gave $19 billion in aid in April as part of the CARES Act, the first stimulus package. The assistance was intended to help farmers deal with interruptions in the supply chain and decreased income because of stay-at-home orders shutting down restaurants and farms. We're starting to see surges in virus cases across the entire world, especially in Europe, and the US is also seeing a new spike in cases since the Labor Day holiday and since school has started. Israel has entered a second nationwide shutdown, and we might be seeing more of these with different countries coming soon. The US is seeing a spike in cases of over 13% higher than the week before, with about 40,000 new virus cases every single day. The US Customs and Border Protection Services seized over 20,000 fake N95 masks in Boston. The U.S. Border Protection intercepted more than 20,000 counterfeit N95 masks in Boston this month after targeting a suspicious shipment arriving from Hong Kong. So be careful out there, guys. Stay safe. Remember, we are still in a pandemic. Don't forget that. Just stay safe, try to social distance, and wear a mask when possible. It could mean your life. Thanks for watching, guys. Don't forget to subscribe and hit the like button. And you can click on these videos to watch my newest stimulus check videos next. And this video teaches you how to start a business selling products on Amazon FBA. I have students that have replaced their entire 9-to-5 income by selling products on Amazon, and I teach them how to do that. Click on one of those videos to watch them next. Thanks, and I will see you in the next video.